Chapter 5, Lesson 1B is writing algebraic expressions, okay? And the learning target for this is I know how to write algebraic expressions given specific data. So, how do we go about writing expressions given a problem? So let's go through the key concept. To do this, the first thing that we need to know is to list what we do know. List out everything that we do understand about the problem. Second thing is answer the question of what are we trying to discover? Okay, what is the question really asking for? Number 3, what is the dependent variable? Okay, dependent means what does the entire question really rely on? What variable is going to change everything else? The number 4 is to define the variables, and number 5 is to write the expression. Okay, and so right now you might be watching this and thinking, okay, what in the world does that mean? This is where we get to apply what we just learned. Alright, so example 1 says Leah has already read 20 pages of a book. She plans to read 5 pages each day from now on. Write an expression that represents the total number of pages she will have read in days. How many pages will she have read after 1 week? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be jumping, and I hope that the paper flying doesn't make you sick. But remember what the first thing to do was list what we know. Okay, so let's go down here, and I'm gonna write down a number 1. And you guys might be thinking, I don't want to go through all these steps, but guess what? You have the opportunity to. So congratulations. So what we know is that she's already read. Leah has read 20 pages already. She's already read 20 pages of a certain book. Okay. What else do we know? We also know that she wants to read 5 pages each day. I'm going to write that down. She wants to read 5 pages a day. Okay. So, do we know anything else? Write an expression? No, that's pretty much all the information we needed to write down about what we know. Okay, the second thing here, after we list what we know, is what are we trying to discover? Okay, what is the question really asking us? And if we look here, it clearly states in this problem, it says write an expression that represents the total number of pages she will have read. So we want to know how many pages she's going to have read depending on the days. Okay, so 2 is how many pages? The number of pages. Number of pages read. Okay. And number 3, getting sick yet? It says number 3 is, what is the dependent variable? So what does all of this really depend on? This whole problem, to answer it, what is, to figure out how many pages she read, what does it depend on? Well, it depends on how many days she's been reading, right? It depends on the days, okay? And so number 4 says that we need to define the variable. Okay, we need to define the variable. So number 4 here, make sure this is all centered, is our variable, the dependent variable, this is the one we need to define, is days. We're going to just say that D is going to be days. That's what that means, okay? And then our last thing that we need to do is to write the expression. Now it's come time to write. We've got all of our stuff down on the paper, now we just need to write it. We'll put a number 5 here. Alright, so number 5, we're going to write the expression. This is where all this information that we've written down comes into handy, okay? So, the first thing we want to do is write the first side, one side of the equal sign, okay? And we know that what we're trying to figure out is how many pages she's read. So the number of pages that's been read is going to be on that side. Okay, and the number of pages is going to equal whatever information we know on this side. First thing that we know is that we know that she's already read 20 pages. Okay, so the number of pages is going to depend on what she's already read 20 pages. Okay, and the second thing is that she wants to read 5 pages per day. So we have to add that to the 5 pages she wants to. That's her goal per day, and that's where D is going to be our variable. So the number of pages is equal to 20, the amount she's already read, plus the 5 per day. Okay, and we can see that if after 1 day, if we plug in 1 for D, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 20 is 25. That makes sense, right? But we have to figure out what the second part of the question is. It says, how many pages will she have read after 1 week? Well, how many days are in 1 week? Of course, that's 7. So the second part here is number of pages. This is where our solving techniques come into play. 20 plus 5, and we plug in that 7 for D because that's how many pages she's going to have to read after 1 week. And 5 times 7 is 35, so we have 20 plus 5, plus 35, so I'm going to squeeze in a 3 over here. And 20 plus 35 is equal to 55. So the number of pages after 1 week equals 55. Boom. And then that was our other answer over here. So go ahead and work on this practice problem by yourself. I do want to make sure that you know, here's the end of the page, and clearly we used a lot of it. There's not a lot of space there. So if you flip it over to the back, let's let it, oh, that would be why. Here's the back. If you flip it over to the back, I gave you guys a lot of room to work on the back over here. So make sure that you use that space. Okay? Have fun, enjoy, and be happy.